All right, Nikki Bowers for Nikki's Pop Dish, interviewing the one and only Neon Trees.
Hello.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And enjoying it. Thoroughly enjoying it so far.
I enjoy you guys too. First, let's just start out with the whole rock the boat. Yeah. Why is this so important to you guys? Anyone can talk.
We grew up obviously loving music, and we grew up in the MTV generation, like in its prime, and I remember being pushed every election year to vote through that. And now it's moved on, and obviously it's a giant corporation without that, and it's, we're just excited that they approached us, and I think we all are very emotional and opinionated, and I think realize that the best way in America is we have the right to vote. So
I have a real reverence for democracy, so I think it's really important to use the opportunity that we're given to speak our mind and to vote our conscience. I think it's really important. Because that's what makes America great, is the fact that the people vote on what they want to have done. And if a whole huge chunk of the voting age population, especially the young kids, don't vote, it's not really a true representation of, you know, the opinion of America. So
I think we realized too, we have a really big young fan base, and they're very young and impressionable, and we don't want to take a stance of who to vote for, but we want to impress upon them the opportunity to get their voice heard.
I think that's great that we're doing this around the debate too, so that they can watch the debate, because I think that's like something that's really important and can inform you almost better than news outlets can, because anyone who's reporting on something is biased. So to see the actual candidates themselves talk about what they want and how their vision for America is, and see how that lines up with your morals and your opinion about how you want things to be, that's like the most important thing.
Right. I've seen bands that are trying to push their own, feelings on it at a concert, and I feel bad for the young kids that are out there, because they're just going to take it as the truth, and they're not going to investigate into it themselves necessarily, and so. Yeah, I feel like it's important that we just kind of say, get educated on it and vote your.
And can I say right now that in this 2012 year, that if I could get your vote for Pedro, that would be excellent. Thank you.
Still.
Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
I love it. Good Napoleon Dynamite.
Right in.
Okay, speaking of that, what you were saying about voters who are younger aren't going to do the investigation and everything like that. There's been a lot of debate on whether celebrities should even basically say who their choice is. What do you guys think about that?
I think as a band, we decided not to, because we don't have a Neon Trees opinion. We have an Elaine, Tyler.
Yeah, and they're different, which is great. That's just like, we're like a cross section of America, because we all feel differently about certain things, and we're probably not all going to vote the same.
But I don't know. I mean, a celebrity is also like I don't know.
I don't think
anyone can say what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing too. That for you to say, hey, celebrities don't say anything. It's they're that's just gonna piss people off.
What I find obnoxious is when celebrities use their celebrity to not only just say like what their own opinion is, but to force it on others, like Chris was saying. Like I think it's fine if you ask somebody, hey, who are you voting for, and they answer it, fine. Or if they say, hey, this is why I'm voting for it. But what I find so obnoxious is when celebrities are like, try to demonify the other candidate, or try to say like, people who are supporting that person obviously are horrible people, and you must hate blah 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 if you're voting a certain way, and it's not about that. It's not about that at all. I don't think either candidate, our current president or Mitt Romney, are evil people, and I don't think anybody who supports either one of those people are inherently evil because they support them, So I think that's what annoys me about celebrities, is when they get all opinionated and then put down other people to make their candidate look better.
Well, both candidates want the best for America. And
thank you for saying that.
It's just different opinions.
It's different views.
And half of what each of them say, I agree with. So it's hard.
Do you guys remember your first experience voting?
Oh yeah.
In a presidential race? Who wants to tell me about it? Elaine, go ahead. You're the first one.
No, I'll tell you that the second I turned 18, I registered to vote. I've always been very opinionated from the time I was very little, so I was really looking forward to the time when I could fill out a ballot. And it was, back in the day. I'm not going to say what year, because then I would give away my age.
It's all right, girl. You get better. You get better. That's all right.
It was shortly after I turned 18 that I got to vote in an actual presidential election, which was very cool. So I don't know. I've always had a reverence for America in general, and like I feel like I'm a patriotic person. Like I really enjoy living here, and I really like our country, and I love the world, and I love visiting other places. But I feel very grateful to be an American, to have the right to vote, to have a democracy in place, and to not have to fight for that. You know?
Yeah.
I was so nervous going into it, just because of the whole process. You know, it's new. Anything new, it's nerve-wracking. I think a lot of people, when they're young kids, I know, are nervous too. But it's actually a really
You're worried about hanging
situation.
chads.
Well, and people
like
are being
that.
told too that their vote doesn't count, and it depends on where you live. That sometimes it just doesn't even matter, and it does matter, and so you need to get out there and do it. And of course, we're talking about in a presidential race as well, but in your local government and the things that are going on directly in your neighborhood. That you should be involved with and participate in those things, because it does matter.
Those almost affect you more than the presidential election does.
Well, the purpose of this is to create a change in the trend, to make like the masses start to vote, and the more people that are voting, the more it'll matter. Each individual vote.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Those are great answers.
Thank you.
Now let's get on to some of my favorite stuff. Let's talk about the band. Okay. First of all, I want to start out by talking about you guys' fashion sense. And what exactly would you say it is? For example, Tyler, you, to me, like in the one video, the love video, what is it called?
Lessons of Love.
Lessons of Love.
Yeah.
To me, you look like a little bit like a young David Bowie.
Cool.
From the 80s. So is he kind of one of your influences as far as like your dressing?
I think him and his era and the whole glam rock movement, it was very chameleon-like, and I feel like I'm never one thing. If you blink, you're gonna see a difference. My hair is always changing. My even body form is always changing in a way. So I'm constantly playing around with physicality, because I think it's the best way to express myself, other than through my music. So I have a good time with it.
I feel like you guys, a lot of your influence is like 80s inspired. Even your music to me just has that throwback feel. Is the 80s a big inspiration for you guys?
I think it's the attitude of the bands in the 80s more than the actual. I mean, it's, obviously some of the production tactics we like too, but I think it's the attitude. There was an art credibility sense to pop music back then, and we love music you can sing along to, but that has a passion behind it as well. And so I think that's what we love about it.
Yeah, and it's not the 80s that everyone thinks, because people typically only think 83, 84, in that era as well.
Or they think 91 and think that they're talking
about
about 89.
I think they're talking about the 80s, but I'd say for myself, what I love about the 80s, you can see with my influence, very Burt Reynolds, very Hank Williams Jr. So there's parts of the 80s that people forget about.
Yeah.
It's not all Rubik's Cube and Cyndi Lauper now.
Yeah. It's not all members only jackets.
Right.
Elaine.
This is not a members only jacket.
It's not. I love it. It looks like it.
It's vibey.
Okay, Elaine.
Yes.
You are the only girl. So I know you guys have known each other for a while. Is it sometimes hard being the only girl? Do they kind of get into that big brother role? And
No. They don't. I don't feel like you guys are really ever my big brothers.
Younger brothers.
So you're more like the big sister with them.
Yeah, I'm more like the guys now, watch out. Be careful.
Have to reel them in.
Yourself. I worry on stage for you.
She's just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you guys find inspiration from, like, as far as genres? Do you find inspiration from other genres besides rock and,
I think as much of an opinion difference in politics, we have an opinion difference in music too, and I think that's what helps us create the live show we do and the records we make, because I think we all have a different appreciation, and we've all learned from each other in the last 5-6 years. So I think it's really fun making music with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all have an appreciation for like sugary pop music. but we all differ in like the different directions that we delve into. You know, like I loved 90s like hip hop and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Biggie.
Yeah.
And you think about who were pop stars in their era. You know, I know like
Marilyn Manson was.
Marilyn Manson, but going way back, Hank Williams Sr. was a pop star. You know, yeah, it's like he's the granddad of country music, but he was a pop star in America. And when Hank came to town, like people went nuts, just like Justin Bieber. And so these people that try to say, oh, it's not like it used to be, it's like, well, you don't really know how it used to be because you weren't there either.
Yeah.
But you know, Elvis Presley was a pop star. That, you know, you mentioned David Bowie before. Morrissey, you know, in his own reclusive, like weird way, he's a pop star.
Oh, how about her?
And you know what? I think a lot of it is because people think of pop music and they think sugary, and they don't realize pop music means popular music, and that's what it's about.
Sure.
So what artists are out there that you like today?
Nikki, you're sing the rap list.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk about my current jam. I love the new Pink single.
Did you?
Blow me one last kiss. I think you can. I jam that all the time on the radio.
Oh yeah. What are you jamming to, Tyler?
I listen to a lot of electronic music, but there's a band that kind of melted together named Twin Shadow that I really love that put out a record. And then I think what's fun about touring is we get to tour with a lot of bands that are young and upcoming. There's a band called Walk the Moon that we just tour with. They're fantastic, and so it's fun to be exposed because our life is music now. And I mean, it always has been, but now we get to do it for a living, as much of a living as we're not making from it. But
the new Muse record is amazing, and also a band called Japan Droids.
Yeah,
pretty rad.
Really great.
All right. Well, anyone has any last words or anything about why rocking the vote is important for the young people?
Get out and do it, and get your voice heard, and find your way.
Form opinions, and then vote based on those opinions.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.